Welcome on in, Warriors of Iron and Forge enjoyers. This is Sprues and Studs, and we have some new releases for the Iron Warriors to take a look at today. In this review, we will be putting the Iron Warriors Tactical Sergeant, as well as the Chosen Champion, under the blistering hot 6000K LEDs to see what JoyToy has given us. Will these figures be better than the Siege Tyrant Terminators that JoyToy gave us previously? We shall see shortly. Before I start off with the aesthetics of these action figures, I want to comment on something in general that I have noticed. These Marines feel like they are a bit more lightweight than their Alpha Legion Headhunter counterparts. It feels like JoyToy has changed the construction of these Horus Heresy action figures to be in line with the construction of the Space Marine 2 action figures. What I mean by this is these guys don't feel as dense or as solid as their previous Horus Heresy counterparts. In fact, they feel a bit hollow and empty in the chest as well as this lower shin region. Again, these suspicions are all in line with Titus's squad's construction, and I wonder if JoyToy is going to be using this design cue going forward. Starting off with the Iron Warriors Tactical Sergeant. Wow. Where do I start with this action figure? The Sergeant is packed full of goodies and an unprecedented 3 types of helmets for a regular infantryman. Let's start off with the one that comes stock with the figure, which is the Beaky, as they are a very popular choice. One thing that I appreciate about the Beaky is that JoyToy decided to shade the vent areas, which help give some character to an otherwise plain noggin of silver. I am glad that these red metallic lenses give some extra detail too. Moving on to the helmet with the gigantic metal fan, I find it interesting and appropriate that the plume looks like it is made of metal, but sadly JoyToy did not decide to shade in between these grooves, which would have helped the blandness of this area. Well, at least these grills on this part of the helmet are colored in. Finally, we arrived at the last helmet, which is probably my least favorite of the 3, because of the protective equipment looks just a bit odd and strangely out of place, and rather forgetful to describe. The pauldrons have a nice black contrast to the silver, and I really like the cleanness of the Iron Warriors chapter badge that is located on his right one. The left one has these various shaped half spheres that seem to be quite prevalent in a lot of Horus Heresy action figures. Sadly, aside from those small decorations, that is about it. Moving down to the arms, they are rather barren looking with only these 3 indentations and a singular long groove to put some character on an otherwise lackluster region. Chest-wise, there is obviously a large bandolier that seems to be supporting the center area. It is quite a shame that JoyToy did not decide to paint these bandoliers black to give some separation from the silver. Then the torso finishes out with a singular black band that runs from north to south and gives some much needed light spice to this area. The waist area is equally threadbare with a simple design for the belt buckle region, and the scrolls with the frag grenade is a stark contrast to the rest of the action figure because they actually give the figure a hint of color. Then you have another interesting brown attachment along with this crack grenade. However, one of the biggest reasons why I decided to buy this action figure is, well, because of you guys, and plus because of the sheer amount of accessories and customizations that you can put on it. For example, JoyToy gives you the option of adding more grenades, or adding a very highly textured and well-designed holster. And if you are enjoying this in-depth action figure review, I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, just because I specialize in Horus Heresy and Warhammer 40k action figure reviews, and don't you want your feed to be populated with the latest and greatest Horus Heresy and or Warhammer 40k action figure reviews? So, you already know what to do. Legs and feet wise, there is really nothing to say except that this area completely adopts the Iron Warriors ethos of function over form. Unfortunately, the same goes for the backpack. This thing is sadly a massive blob of silver, and what's even more sad is that I kind of feel like I'm reviewing a McFarlane figure thus far. It would have been nice to see if JoyToy could have painted these hoses, as well as these lower vents black. Again, this figure gives you a ton of options in terms of what to equip the Sergeant with, so let's start off with this plasma pistol. I find that the blue of the coils to be rather dull, and would have appreciated if it was bright blue metallic instead of this matte blue. Aside from that, there is really good color balance between the gunmetal as well as the black areas on this hot firearm. Now with this bolt gun, the first thing that jumped out to me is this bayonet that is affixed to the barrel of the gun. I find this attachment to be pretty awesome looking,
and something we don't typically see on action figures. Just like the plasma pistol, I find that the color balance of black and gunmetal to be really nice and evenly spaced. The addition of the shoulder strap also allows for even more customization because the sergeant can actually carry all 3 of the weapons that he is given. Now with this power sword, holy crap, I see color aside from silver and black on this thing. The addition of gold and this tiny blue metallic node is a welcome sight to see. Moving on to the Command Squad Chosen. The plume on this helmet is an interesting sight to see compared to the metal plume of the Tactical Sergeant. There is nice shading that is going on, which is always fantastic to see on an action figure. I appreciate that the vent areas on the helmet are colored in. Finally, the addition of this golden accent is super distinctive, especially on an Iron Warriors action figure. Now, this bareheaded option has quite a lot of expression that is conveyed through his grimace. This grimace makes him look either really pissed off or him bearing down to drop a deuce or something. Just like with the rest of the Iron Warriors, shading would have helped with accenting the features of his face. I find that the inclusion of this golden outline to be most welcome to give some extra seasoning on this character. The Iron Warriors chapter symbol is screened on perfectly, and I really like the addition of these rivets and studs too. On the other side, you have nice black and yellow striping with gold ball accents, which look great compared to the Sergeant. Then while the arms are a monotone silver color, the rivets and this bordering gives some texture. Now this chest is comprised of a solid sheet metal with some more studs at the top and bottom of it. The torso is also as plain as an Arctic tundra. As I said before, the Iron Warriors do not give a crap about decorations. All they care about is that the armor protects them, and that's it. The belt buckle boasts a lone skull, but at least that the eyes sockets are filled in with black paint. And interestingly enough, the tabard areas is actually a soft and flexible plastic, contrary to how it looks. Turning this action figure around, the champion sports the same holster bolt pistol as the Tactical Sergeant. Finally, the legs match the overall aesthetic of the arms with rivets at the outer edges of the armor, and this raised border that helps with the mundaneness of the armor. The only thing that jumps out is the hazard striping on the right knee that the Iron Warriors are so famous for. The backpack is a solid slab of silver, which could have used some black coloration in the fan as well as these lower areas here. At least these cables flow with the overall aesthetics because they look also like hazard striping. Then with this power sword, there is a nice injection of color on this action figure. It is a rarity apparently to see red and gold on an Iron Warriors, and this simple but ornate looking power sword does just that. Obviously, the main drawing point of this action figure is this massive standard that he is bearing. You've got these massive blade-like rays that are emanating from this interesting looking eye icon, which I think would have looked better if perhaps this would have been colored red. Below that is a shaded banner with the screen Iron Warrior's name on it, which is a bit of a shame as either engraved or protruding letters would have been better. Then there are some nice, very Ultramarines-esque laurels that are hugging this decoration with the characteristic Iron Warriors hazard striping. Then when you flip the standard around, these leather strips look fantastic with this worn-in texture and patterning. The size comparison says that the Tactical Sergeant as well as the Chosen are the exact same size. The Chosen is slightly taller than this V3 Intercessor, but Titus is also slightly taller than the Chosen. Then going for some era-specific action figures, Remus is taller than the Chosen, as well as the Space Wolf Legion Praetor is also taller than the middle action figure. And then it should come to nobody's surprise that these two Cataphracti Terminators stand way taller than this Chosen.
Starting off with the Tactical Sergeant, I'm kind of sorry to say that this action figure seems a bit lacking in my opinion. Aesthetics wise, I think he looks perhaps even worse than the Alpha Legion Headhunters that I keep mentioning. However, the reason for me buying this action figure is not really for looks, it's about customization as well as giving you, the viewer, something to watch. I love how you can swap out the helmet, the various weapons, and the various accessories that this action figure comes with that allows for a vast level of customization for an infantry figure. The Command Squad Chosen is a decent figure in my opinion. He actually has a lot of different accents that make him stand out from his other Iron Warrior brothers, and the gold trimmings as well as studs are a welcome addition to this action figure. If you are an Iron Warriors fan but maybe can only afford one out of the two, I think my money definitely would be on the Chosen Champion. For you general collectors out there, I think I would be pretty hard pressed to convince you to buy either of these action figures. If you want a representative from each Horus Heresy Legion as of now, I think that your money is probably be best spent on buying one of the Siege Tyrant Terminators. And if you are interested in buying any of these action figures, just click in the link in the description below, or you will be brought to David Toys. David Toys actually tends to get their action figures shipped pretty quickly just because their proximity to the JoyToy factory, so they almost get first dibs on the action figures. So that's why I tend to also get my action figures quicker than the rest of the people that live in America, so I can do these reviews for you all. And when you check out, do not forget to use the code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase. And yes, I do receive commission on my purchases, and all the commission money gets pumped back into the channel because I buy action figures that I would not normally buy so that you can view them. So it is definitely a win-win situation. And with that being said, members of the chapter, let me know what you thought of these action figures in the comments below. Were you impressed by them? Were you really disappointed? Or do you think I was being a little bit too harsh on my judgments of these action figures? Either way, just let me know. Thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate all of your likes, comments, subscribes, as well as shares, as they help out the channel so much to grow even bigger and better than it is right now. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.